In recent times, we have seen a lot of public statements from higher ups at the BCCI when it comes to prioritizing not just domestic cricket but also, more importantly, test match cricket or red ball cricket. And this is something that does fly contrary to, let's say, what had been going on for the past decade or so, whereby white ball cricket and specifically the IPL were given precedence over pretty much everything, to the point when you saw a lot of IPL stars get to make their test debuts basis their IPL performances and not necessarily what it is that they can do when it comes to domestic cricket. However, that is something that has been changing recently. You've seen that mandates have now been passed around to centrally contracted players that if not on national duty or, let's say, recuperating or injured, they must be making themselves available to play domestic cricket. And there have also been even more statements concerning the likes of Shreyas Iyer and Ishan Kishan, not directly but indirectly saying that you will not be picking players basis on, let's say, if they're not hungry enough to succeed in test cricket, you aren't going to be picking them. That is a quote that has come directly from Rohit Sharma himself, and the day after he said that, we're getting to hear something new from the BCCI. And of course, as is always the case, it's not a direct edict that has been passed, but it is a source saying that the BCCI is potentially considering hiking the match fees that are paid out for test match cricket in order to make it seem more lucrative for players to be playing test match cricket all year round. What they've said is that, and this quote comes from the Indian Express, says that if someone plays all test series in a calendar year, he should be rewarded additionally apart from the annual retainer contract. That's the first line. Now, I have to point out that they are in fact additionally rewarded apart from the retainer contract when they play test match cricket, because again, right now the match fees for test match cricket is about 15 lakhs. Whereas for an ODI, it's about 6 lakhs, for a T20I, it's 3 lakhs. So for every match you play, you're getting paid about that much. However, given the fact that India's volume of test cricket isn't as high as, say, some countries, like, say, for instance, England and Australia definitely play a lot more test matches, particularly in home conditions. With India, it can be up and down. That 15 lakhs might not seem like an awful lot. However, there is now talks that you will hike that and additionally put in a few benefits to ensure that players will prioritize test cricket. In fact, this is exactly the aim of it, because that source further added that this is to ensure that players turn out more for red ball cricket. This would be an additional perk for playing test, an additional perk being the key, because again, with test match cricket, the reason you're playing it is because of the romanticism of the format. It's because you are in a firm belief that that is the best way to test your cricketing abilities. But what has happened is that as the sport has become more and more financially lucrative and as other formats have surpassed test cricket, it might not make more sense to be playing potentially 4 or 5 days of tough test match cricket for about 15 lakhs per match. So the thought process is that you hike that and add additional bonuses for players who are going to be making themselves available for playing test cricket all year round. And it does seem to be a continuing trend, because we've seen that it's not just a case of the BCCI walking the walk. At least they are taking steps to ensure and to show that they are talking the talk as well. Because you've seen that there has been some upsetness at the likes of an Ishan Kishan and a Shreyas Iyer. You've had public comments made their way. Of course, you've had a Rohit Sharma say that jinko bhook nahi hai, we won't be playing them. BCCI Secretary Jai Shah himself has said that hame nakhre dikhane wale players nahi chahiye. You don't want players who are throwing tantrums. And now you've also heard news previously that the likes of a Kishan, Iyer could potentially be dropped from their central contracts that they have. So they'll no longer be centrally contracted players. And what happens when you're a centrally contracted player? You are seen as one of the first choice players in international cricket, regardless of which format that might be. Now, not having those contracts would mean that the BCCI don't really have much of an incentive to pick them up, whereas previously they could get away with not playing that much domestic, but now they'll be forced to go back and play domestic cricket to prove their worth. So, how exactly does the idea stack up of more money being more important and giving more importance, let's say, for test cricket? Are you going to be seeing more stars potentially coming through? We don't really know yet, because again, at the moment, it's very much a long-term thing. It's something that is not going to change overnight. It is something that is going to take some time to course correct, because the rot that the BCCI is now starting to address has been more than 10 years or so in the making. You've prioritized the IPL above all else to the detriment of Test cricket, to the detriment of even international cricket at times, to the detriment of your feeder systems. It has been IPL, international cricket, and then everything else. But luckily now we are at a time wherein the BCCI, led by the efforts of head coach Rahul Dravid as well as chairman of selectors AajTak, are saying no, you need to be turning out for your domestic teams, you need to be playing red ball cricket whenever it is possible, otherwise you're not going to be allowed or you're not going to be part of the Indian team. You can play your IPL all you like, but it won't really matter. In fact, there have also been talks of making it tougher for IPL stars who don't prioritize domestic cricket, because there have been talks that you could be making it a mandate of playing minimum 3-4 domestic games per year to ensure you are available for the IPL. All of this, as I said, is long term, but a rot that has been set in for 10 plus years will take some time to weed out. The good news is there are at least steps being taken to weed out the issues. How much success they have, that's something we'll only know, but we can only laud the efforts for trying. But what are your thoughts on the matter? You can let us know that in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us also on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Don't forget to download the AajTak app, and if you're already on the channel, well, then go right ahead, check out some other videos we've done as well. For now, from my side, it's goodbye.